this is called, we're calling this Geophysics 1. Where John has been geophysing this morning, two things we've been doing is getting a grid set out, which William has been doing over where we think the villa site might be. This is John's first piece of geophysics in the set-aside area. And what we're going to be doing is placing your test bits on the basis of the set-aside. We'll talk about this strategy a bit later.
These are the results coming on the screen then.
Now,
So,
okay, off you go.
I'll get out my own shadow. So the villa is down there, and you've got the double ditched enclosure coming down here, up the side, and then I've got the return. You can see the double ditches there, plus a complex of other anomalies. This is a large water pipe going right through the main survey area. So if you project it, it's obviously going to continue, but hopefully we'll get enough of the ditch going north-south. So the assumption is these clearly go around the villa complex, but there's things extending to the north, and the top of the screen is actually where the road is. So that's as far as we can go in that direction without going into the fields to the north of the road.
And after lunch, John, while these guys are doing field walking and test pitting, you're going to do the area over the actual villa site.
Well, I thought I'd extend and get the ditches coming up here.
Yeah. And you
get
still
that
have
picture.
time to get the connection with the villa done, will you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I think what we'd obviously like to try and make the connection between the ditches. Cassie, Helena, Susan, the strategy we're looking at with this now is that the goal, as I discussed with Phil, who's got the kind of overall archaeological eye on this, is we want to put some test bits in areas that will characterise the surface deposits. And because of that, we're intentionally going to put them away from the feature. What we don't want is to put a small test bit on something that might be a feature, because a test bit isn't really big enough to accurately identify that feature. So your test bits are going to go in this area here. You're inside the villa enclosure. So it's in a very important, we want to test that area. And meanwhile, Cassie, I, and with a bit of a chat with Phil, will be considering putting something across that ditch or surrounding wall to see the depth of the feature. Now, I can address the question now, why not, if we've got a villa, stick a trench straight into a villa? The reason for that is they're very complex buildings and require large trenches to understand them. Otherwise you get little bits of walls. And in the time scale we've got, remember we talked this morning, what can you do in the time scale? And what we can do in the time scale is evaluate the depth of that archaeology, which is incredibly useful. A little bit frustrating because part of you thinks as a villa, why can I not stick a trench in a villa? Very complex, walls, floors everywhere, and the kind of 2x1 size we can take on doesn't properly do that job in the time scale we've got.